Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a huge announcement from the mothership on a little bit of changes with their competitive events. I think this is more geared towards like a Market Monday audience than the general population at Rogue Deck Builder. If you watch my Market Monday, I talk a lot about when they mess around with the competitive scene, how that will affect the market. And I think this is another huge burden for the modern scene. I've talked about that modern. One of the reasons why I think it's slipping in price is we have a very established metagame that most of the decks, I mean, we saw like Pure Steel Paladin decks go up. We've seen some cards that go with the new expertise is be able to cheat in some of the fuse cards and whatnot. So some of those type of cards have gone up because they're brand new decks that people want to try out. But for the most part, the metagame has been established, and it really leads to a flat, stale growth in the market when everyone that is playing those decks already has their pieces, and we don't see enough people entering the modern scene as we do see people either quitting the modern scene, or there's just too much supply out there with the amount of reprints to not really harbor a nice growth like we saw in 2015 especially, or as 2013 was just the boom year for modern. So I've talked about going over to casual as the best ways to kind of park your money or your trade value in if you're really looking for a format that's going to continue to increase. And we just saw record growth in the more commander and casual type cards in 2016. So anyway, so if you can go over the mothership here, they have a Helen Bergot has just, or however you say her name, has just published what they're doing for the new competitive scene. And I'm going to skip down to the part that really I think has modern hurts modern even more. And this is going to be the shift back into standard. It says, last year we ran constructed portion of the World Magic Cup as a team unified modern. You remember that? There was a lot of cool decks and a lot of cool coverage for modern, and coverage matters. If you look at all of the price spikes in the past, especially look at 2015 and 2014, a lot of those price spikes happened after a Pro Tour or a World Magic Cup with a lot of camera time on the specific modern. Now, we got rid of Pro Tour moderns. They're gone after the Eldrazi Winter. They've completely said they're never going to go back to modern as a Pro Tour format. And the worst part about that, as far as for modern growth, is the PTQ scene was taken away from modern. So you qualify for the tournament that you're playing with the format that you're going to be playing in. So if you're going to be playing in a standard Pro Tour, then the qualifying for that is standard for the PTQ season. They used to do like a limited one and a modern one. I believe me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's all standard now. That's all they're ever going to do for the PTQ scene. So that's going to force people not to, like a lot of people that wanted to be PTQ grinders, maybe they didn't like modern, they still had to be proficient in modern, and they still had to buy a modern deck. And that just the collapse of the whole PTQ circuit and the no more Pro Tour moderns is just I think the nail in the coffin for the longevity of any sort of stability in the growth, the market growth for modern. So now they're actually going to get rid of the World Magic Cup for the Team Unified Modern. So they wanted to go back after feedback. They say they want standard. We've heard that Hasbro has put pressure on them to sell their latest sets. Sell. I don't think the sales are quite as strong. Kaladesh is not as strong as Battle for Zendikar. I think the biggest profit margin, or the most sales, was Battle for Zendikar. It might be, someone correct me if I'm wrong here. Of course, a set that's been out longer is going to have more sales just because it has a longer time in the market. But Khans of Tarkir was insane. You still can't find, a lot of the vendors or distributors do not have Khans of Tarkir, just the amount of people that bought that set. You can actually look at the average value of a rare in Khans of Tarkir, and it's so super low just because of how much of those products have been opened for the fetch lands. And then Battle for Zendikar had the first expeditions and was just hype, as well as full art lands, and was just opened into oblivion. And I think that Kaladesh has slowed off, so I think there's a lot of pressure to sell standard sets, and one of the ways is to just feature these standard sets. So I don't like investing in modern at this point, especially with Modern Masters 2017 looking to be overprinted. Now, just let me give you a bit of numbers. We are getting about twice as much, well, not quite, we're getting about a third as much product from the first release of Modern Masters 2017 than we did for the Modern Masters 2015. Now, keep in mind, Wizards has lied to us. over and over and over. They lied to us about Eternal Masters. They lied to us about the Plane Chase Anthology. They lied to us actually about Commander 27 or 2016. On the other end, they did not release a second print wave of Commander 2016. We still think that that might happen just because there's huge demand for it. I mean, Atraxa is still, some cards out of Atraxa is still selling. I think Atraxa herself is still selling for a ton. That deck is, and so I think that we might see a massive reprint of the 2016, maybe like the Mind Seize type reprint, where Atraxa gets a 3-to-1 ratio of printings, just because everyone wants that and no one wants the other four-color combinations nearly as much. So with Modern Masters 2017 coming out with a lot of reprints from the Innistrad and Return to Ravnica blocks, as well as I'm sure that they might hit Tarmogoyf and Noble Hierarch and Cryptic Command again. It is looking to be very, very, very sketchy for the long-term Modern growth. Now, this is good news for people that want to actually get into Modern, but I would say that the price cap, or the entry to like the price barrier, the entry of getting into Modern, is not nearly as backbreaking as just I mean, yeah, if decreased of price is a thing, yes, more people will get into Modern based upon that, but I don't think that overcompensates for the just lack of coverage, the staleness in the format, the lack of vision that Wizards has for the Modern format, the lack of, like, they themselves just don't seem to celebrate it much. They didn't do anything for the release of Modern Masters 2017. I mean, it's releasing in a month, March 17th, so a month and a week away is going to be the release, and we still have not heard anything cool at all. If they're going to do even promos for the pre-orders or buy a box, or there is no tournament scheduled around it, which is just completely blows my mind, because the last two releases of Modern Masters were huge. They were by far the record-breaking Grand Prix in Las Vegas. Now, they are doing another Las Vegas one this year, but it doesn't coincide with the release of Modern Masters 2017, which really just makes me shake my head. I think they also didn't want to release Modern Masters 2017 in the summer, because that competes with their summer set, and summer sets typically have low sales compared to other sets. I mean, it used to be spring and fall, used to be the big sets, and now that with the kind of the paradigm of having the 2-block sets, you have to get one in the summer, and that's just going to lead to lack of sales, just because Magic, people are out doing things that's just for my local game store. We have a hard time getting people coming in during the summer because of just family vacations and just huge activities in the summer. So anywho, just keep that in mind. Let's just look over some other things before I look at the lack of Grand Prix for Modern as well. So a little bit of the news that I do like is they are going to be doing this cool little PTQ. So it's going to give me a reason to actually go to Grand Prix. So the Grand Prix are going to start doing a Pro Tour qualifier, a one-shot Pro Tour qualifier on Sundays. But again, the Pro Tour qualifier will be standard. So the winner of each Pro Tour qualifier receives an invitation to the Pro Tour that the Grand Prix is feeding. These events will be first come, first served, and will have a maximum capacity of 225. We encourage anyone interested in signing up to do so, as they're committed to playing. So anywho, if you don't make the day 2 then for the Grand Prix on Sunday, then you can still have something to do. They used to do what's called the Super Sunday series, but there was just lack of. I top 8'd 2 of them. Of the two, they usually do cap out the Super Sunday series, but they're quite easy, because both of the Super Sunday series that I played in, I top 8'd. One of them I top 4'd, so what they do is they combine the top 4 of the limited and the top 4 of the constructed and bring them into a top 8. So I top 4'd one of them and actually did play in the top 8, and then lost first round. But then the other one I actually got 6, so I barely missed the combination of the top 8. But those were both huge tournaments, so I'm thinking these will be a little more competitive. I'm not going to knock on them, but I mean, if someone like me can top 8 both, I mean, I'm 2 for 2 for top 8ing a Super Sunday qualifier, you can tell that it's more casual players that enter those than competitive players. So it should have something for the competitive players to just scrub out on day 2. I am notorious for being terrible at sealed. Sealed by far is not my cup of tea. I get just stomped. I don't know. I like to blame it on luck, but I mean, just the amount of, you go over to the DCI someone who's compiled an ELO DCI rating for people that played in competitive events, so like Grand Prix and Pro Tours and whatnot. And my ELO rating is horrid, and it's mainly due to the fact that just limited. I am just the crappiest limited player ever. I don't think I've ever. Yes, okay. So I have won a pre-release, but I don't think I've won like a huge pre-release, like 100 or more people. I've never been able to do that just because I'm so bad at limited. I don't know. To my defense, a lot of the past limited that I've been playing in, my pools have just been horrendous. We're talking about 21 playable cards, and you have to like put in 2/2 artifacts, the Scry 1 artifacts just as filler cards. But anyway, excuses. I'm a bad player, I know that. So anywho, let's see what we're talking about here. So that's a cool little thing that will, I think, make it so that Grand Prix will be something that people want to go to more often. I hope that they'll actually increase the number of Grand Prix. Salt Lake City has not had a Grand Prix in a long time. I think that it's Wizards' own lack of foresight that the reason why our last Grand Prix was so crappy is they scheduled it at the exact same time as Comic-Con. And if anyone knows, Comic-Con in Salt Lake City is the second biggest Comic-Con in the United States, next to San Diego, just because we have such a nerd culture here in Salt Lake City. I mean, everyone is just into comic books, and Magic is decently popular, but the video game and comic book scene here in Utah is just huge. It is cool to be a comic book nerd here. So Comic-Con, people chose Comic-Con over the Grand Prix, and I think our Grand Prix only had about 850 entries, but I mean, that was their own damn fault for scheduling it the same day. So anywho, let's just look at the Grand Prix schedule and try to you can see that the vast majority, standard, there's 2 moderns here, standard, no modern. There's a team unified modern here in San Antonio, but for the majority of them, standard, limited. It looks like there's less limited Grand Prix too, which is good because I hate limited. So then we have limited, standard, 1 modern, or 2 moderns that month. So it looks like we have about 1 to 2 moderns per month. Of course, we do have the big modern tournament in Las Vegas. So I think that actually how they should do it is they need to have an event every year. Before I get back into modern, this is one of my my desires, I guess, one of my ultimatums, not even a desire. Before I really go hard back into modern, I want to see a modern championship. I think that it should be independent of the Pro Tour scene and the Grand Prix scene. I think there should be a modern championship that should be qualified through Pro Tour it'd be modern qualifications, modern championship qualifiers that should be state by state or region by region, the same way that the Pro Tours are done, and have other ways to qualify them, and just do a big modern celebration. They don't have to do it every year. They could rotate between Legacy and Modern, or even maybe Frontier and Modern, and I'd still be okay with that. And that at least give me enough drive, and at least give some other people enough incentive to want to get back into Modern. And so that's step A. Step B is I think they need to be consistent with their rulings on what cards are banned, what cards are not banned. You can go check out the video. Just search it in my YouTube, like top 3 or top 5 ways to save Modern or something like that. I'll have a link in the description below if I feel like I want to do that. So, anywho, but that's what will get me back into the Modern format. I used to love Modern when it was more of like an interactive format, but now that we've degenerated into less interactive decks, the last bannings were nice because they did hurt some of the less interactive decks, but then we still have now a few other less interactive decks that have popped up because of prints in the Aether Revolt. So I don't know how I feel about the format. Still love Frontier, and I hope that they do one day start the Frontier in Grand Prix. I know that Star City has said, I know one of the big names has started doing Frontiers. And I think that's even more a death into Modern, because I think that it will crowd the space of Legacy and Modern. So anyway, I think it's just, if you are investing in Modern Masters 2017, I highly advise caution. Caution. Because 2015, we never recovered from the 2015. There's a few cards that did go up, like Noble Hierarch, but the vast majority of them are just barely starting to go up right now, and we have another huge reprint coming their way. So the cards that don't get reprinted in Modern Masters 2017, of course, will go up, but the vast majority of cards that do get reprinted, I think are just going to be completely... I think this will be the largest loss we've ever seen, just because my store has had 1/3 more. We've been allotted right out the gates, a third more than we were last time around, more than Eternal Masters as well. So anywho, and we saw with Eternal Masters, you can still get boxes of Eternal Masters for dirt cheap on eBay and other sites because they just overprinted that Eternal Masters. So let me know what you think about the comment section below. How do you feel about Modern at the moment? I haven't played it forever. I sold out on MTGO with it. I sold out in paper. Speaking of Modern Masters 2017, in a few days I'll have pre-orders up on the website. I think we're going to do them for $220 for pre-orders for Modern Masters 2017. They're going for like anywhere from $240 to $270 on eBay. I haven't seen any lower for a while under $230 on eBay. So this is a discount to all you fans that want to pre-order and just lock into that price. But I caution you, let me just be 100% transparent. I caution you at getting in on that because we never know what Wizards is going to do with the Modern Masters reprinting. Modern Masters 2017, if they're going to do like a second print run of it, like they did in Eternal Masters, and well, actually they didn't do a second print run. They just only they printed a whole ton at the very beginning and then only released half and then released half again around Christmas time. So yeah, so if you are interested, though, we will have those pre-orders up. I'm giving my patrons first dibs, and so if you are a patron for Rogue Deck Builder, just go out and check out the Patreon page, and there's a private link to pre-order the Modern Masters 2017. You get even more of a discount than I'm going to offer the rest of the YouTube and Facebook and whatnot. So be looking forward to that. I will be at Grand Prix Las Vegas. Absolutely will be at Grand Prix Las Vegas. Probably will be at this Grand Prix Denver as well here in August. So, which makes me mad because Salt Lake does not get another Grand Prix. But I'm going to try to hit the Grand Prix that are in my general vicinity. Vegas is easy for me. It's about a 4-hour drive. So if you're looking to meet me, this is a good time to do so. I'm going to probably be there with a lot of other friends. I know the MC headquarters wants to do a draft. I'm sure that I'll hook up with some other YouTubers and we'll try to get some things going there. So I had a lot of fun the last time meeting people, going out to eat with people. I think we'll have a great time this Vegas trip and whatnot. So also, like I mentioned before, I don't know if this is my last day of swim team, absolutely last day of swim team practices. I'm done. I'm not coaching swim team next year. I'm going to focus completely on the YouTube channel. So if there's anything you'd like to see more of or less of in the comment section below, this is your time to shine. I'll also have some polls on Twitter. I'm going to really start focusing more, try to up my game. I know I've said that in the past, but life always seems to get in the way. But this time I really do want to focus on the YouTube aspect of it. So if you want to see more deck techs, more gameplay, more live streams, more Commander deck techs, more rant videos, more Market Monday type stuff, just let me know your ideas. I'm going to start collaborating with more people. I want to get more people on the Rogue Deck Builder brand. So if you like to write articles, if you like to brew Rogue decks, if you like to do videos for Rogue-based strategies, you don't even have to do them for my channel. Just do them for your own channel, and we'd love to spotlight them on the Rogue Deck Builder, roguedeckbuilder.com. Also, we will have a Rogue Master Brewer shortly, coming up in middle of February. We'll have time. Greg, Wally, and I will have time to actually sit down and organize that, and I really want to get that going. I'm going to start doing my top 10 list as well. I'll start doing brews. Even though the standard metagame is very, very hostile, I haven't really felt like there's been as bad of a metagame except in, well, of course, last time around in Kaladesh, it was terrible with the U-White Flash and the Aetherworks Marvel just being oppressive. But, I mean, that's an oppressive standard. But I think that this standard is the most representative of Caw-Blade. And the problem never was Caw-Blade. Well, it kind of was. Caw-Blade was OP, was definitely the best deck. But the absolute problem I felt with the Caw-Blade was Valakut. Because every deck that could compete with Caw-Blade was just stomped on by Valakut. And Valakut had one of the worst win percentages versus Caw-Blade. But it seemed like the combo players never give up their decks. No matter how bad the deck is, they're still going to play it. And I think we're starting to see that after the Pro Tour had one of the worst win records by Jeskai Saheeli, yet people are still playing it. People are still taking it on MTGO. They're still playing it in the other, like, locally and everything like that. And I think that just Jeskai Saheeli is going to be just a parasite on the format until they somehow get rid of it or ban it or people just give it up. Because all of the decks that can beat Mardu or can beat Green-Black Snake have an insanely tough time against Jeskai Saheeli. It's just so hard to interact with the combo, and also try to beat down or stop an aggro deck, that two different aggro decks that really attack the format on two different levels. Where the green black +1/+1 counter deck, the green black snake tovers just tries to progress into big beats, whereas the Mardu vehicles just tries to just play early aggro value and has a lot of range with the vehicles and the Gideons. So both of those are to build a deck that actually beats Jeskai Saheeli, actually beats the Mardu vehicles and beats the green black Delirium, or even 2 out of 3 of those, is extremely tough. In the format at the moment. So anyway, I'll still do my best, still create rogue decks, still check out Frontier, still loving Frontier. I think that's a very diverse, awesome format. And anyway, just appreciate everyone. I know I've rambled, and once again gone off the track of what this video was. But let me know all the comment section below, all the things I've talked about this video. I'll try to respond back. Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.